Negative thinking can feel like a poison in your mind. It turns small problems into huge disasters, turns possibilities into fears, and turns your own self into an enemy. You look in the mirror and see every flaw. You think about the future and see every failure. You remember the past and feel only shame. Kill your negative thinking. Those words sound intense, maybe even violent, but what they really mean is this. Stop letting your worst thoughts run your whole life. Stop letting the cruel voice in your head decide who you are and what is possible for you. Stop treating your fears, your doubts, and your self-attacks as facts. You cannot stop thinking. Your mind will always generate thoughts. But you can learn to stop believing every negative thought that appears. You can learn to stop feeding them. You can learn to stop following them into dark places. Right now, imagine your mind as a room. In that room, there are many voices. Some say, you can do better. You have strength. Others say, you're useless. You will fail. Nobody really likes you. For years, you may have allowed the negative voice to stand in the center of the room with a microphone, shouting over everything else. Today, I want to help you take that microphone away. The first step to killing negative thinking is to understand that your negative thoughts are not you. They are patterns. They are habits. They are old recordings. They come from childhood, from painful experiences, from culture, from fear. They are like automatic messages your brain sends when it feels unsafe or uncertain. When your mind says, you're stupid, it is not reporting the truth. It is repeating a story. When it says, you'll always be alone, it is not seeing the future. It is showing you your fear. When it says, nothing ever works out for me, it is not measuring every event logically. It is focusing only on the times you were hurt and ignoring the times you were helped. You do not have to accept these stories as the truth. One powerful technique is to change the way you talk about your thoughts. Instead of saying, I am a failure, say, I am having the thought that I am a failure. Instead of, nobody cares about me, say, I am having the thought that nobody cares about me. This sounds small, but it creates a gap. In that gap, you stop being the thought and become the observer of the thought. In that observer position, you can ask, is this thought helpful? Is it true? Do I have real evidence for it, or is it just fear? You move from automatic reaction to conscious choice. Negative thinking often appears in patterns. Some people are stuck in self-criticism. They attack themselves for everything. Some are stuck in catastrophizing. They imagine the worst possible outcome for every situation. Some are stuck in hopelessness. They believe nothing will ever change. Some are stuck in comparison. They constantly measure themselves against others and always come out losing. Take a moment and ask yourself, which negative pattern shows up most in my mind? Do you constantly tell yourself you're not good enough? Do you always expect disaster? Do you feel like your future is already ruined? Do you feel less than everyone you see online or in real life? Naming the pattern is important. If you don't know what you're fighting, you can't fight it well. Once you see the pattern, you can start to catch it. Imagine a small mental alarm. When your mind starts saying, you're worthless, the alarm goes off. This is negative self-talk. When it says, this will definitely end in disaster, the alarm goes off. This is catastrophizing. When it says, why bother? Nothing works, the alarm goes off. This is hopelessness. When it says, everyone else is better than me, the alarm goes off. This is unhealthy comparison. Catching the pattern is step 1. Destroying its power is step 2. How do you destroy its power? Not by screaming, stop thinking, at yourself. That usually makes it worse. Instead, you change your relationship with the thought. When a negative thought appears, treat it like a messenger, not like a king. It walks into the room and says, you're useless. You do not bow down. You do not say, yes, your majesty. You say, hello, messenger. I see you. Why are you here? What are you trying to protect me from? And are you telling the truth? For example, if you think, I'm useless, maybe that thought appeared because you made a mistake or someone criticized you. Your brain is trying to protect you from future pain by convincing you not to try again. It thinks, if you accept you're useless, you won't risk anything and you won't be hurt again. This is a twisted kind of protection. You can respond, I made a mistake, yes. That does not make me useless. That makes me human. I can learn. I can change. I can do better next time. You can list times you were helpful, kind, intelligent, strong. You can remind yourself that one event is not your entire identity. Negative thinking also grows in empty spaces. When your mind is bored, when you have no clear focus, when you are scrolling aimlessly, when you are lying in bed with nothing else to do, negative thoughts have room to multiply. This is why they often attack at night, or when you are alone and not engaged in anything meaningful. To weaken negative thinking, you must fill your day with intentional activity. This does not mean working endlessly or avoiding rest. It means choosing how you use your mind instead of leaving it in neutral. Give your mind healthy tasks. Learning, reading, creating, moving your body, solving small problems, practicing skills, connecting with people who lift you up. When your mind is busy with purposeful action, it has less energy for useless self-attacks. Another tool is to challenge negative thoughts with evidence. Negative thinking loves broad statements. Always, never, everyone, nothing. It says, I always fail. Nothing ever works out. Everyone is better than me. Nobody cares. When you hear these words, pause and ask, is that literally true? Always? Never? Everyone? Nobody? Usually the answer is no, you have not failed at literally everything. You have had victories, small or big. Some things have worked even if others didn't. Some people care, even if not everyone. Some people are better than you at some things, and you are better than them at other things. Write down counterexamples. If your mind says, I always fail, write down times you succeeded, finished a project, helped someone, passed an exam, learned something, stood up for yourself. If it says, nobody cares, write down names of people who have shown care, even in small ways. If it says, nothing ever works, write times when things did work out or at least did not end in disaster. You are building a case against your negative thoughts. Slowly, your brain learns that they are inaccurate. This doesn't mean they will disappear overnight, but they will start losing their power. Negative thinking also often comes from old wounds. If someone important in your past constantly told you that you were stupid, ugly, lazy, unlovable, those words may still echo in your mind. If you were constantly compared to others and told you were not good enough, that comparison might live inside you. If you were punished for mistakes instead of being allowed to learn, failure may feel like proof of your worthlessness. Killing negative thinking often requires healing these old wounds. You may need to admit, yes, I was treated badly. Yes, I internalized those messages. But I am not going to keep repeating them to myself forever. That was their voice. It does not have to be mine. You can imagine your younger self, the child you once were, standing in front of you. That child believed what they were told because they had no choice. Now you are older. You can choose to speak differently to that child. Say, I'm sorry you were treated that way. I'm sorry you were made to feel small. You did not deserve that. I am here now. I will protect you. I will speak kindly to you. I will not attack you the way they did. This inner reparenting is powerful. It takes time, but it slowly replaces the old negative voice with a new, supportive one. Let's talk about the body. Negative thinking doesn't just live in your head. It lives in your nervous system. When you constantly think harsh, fearful, hopeless thoughts, your body responds. Tight muscles, shallow breathing, racing heart, stomach pain. In that state, your brain is on high alert. It looks for danger. It expects bad things. It becomes more negative. To kill negative thinking, you must also send safety signals to your body. Simple practices like slow breathing, stretching, walking, or gentle exercise tell your nervous system, you are not in immediate danger right now. When your body relaxes, your mind has more space to consider balanced thoughts. Try this. Exhale fully, then breathe in through your nose for a count of 4, hold for 2, and exhale for 6. Repeat several times. As you breathe, say quietly, in this moment, I am safe enough. I am here. I am breathing. You are not denying your problems. You are reminding your body that right now, nothing is attacking you physically. This calms the system. Negative thinking also thrives in comparison. You look at other people's lives on social media, at work, at school, and you see perfect images: success, beauty, happiness. You compare those edited highlights to your unedited life. You conclude, I am less, I am behind, I am failing. Remember, comparison is often based on illusion. You do not see other people's full reality. You see what they choose to show. You do not see their fears, their insecurities, their failures, their loneliness. You do not see the nights they cried, the doubts they had. You see the moments they felt good enough to press upload. You must stop treating other people's highlight reel as proof that you are worthless. Instead, treat other people's success as information. If they can do it, maybe it is possible. Ask, what can I learn from them? Not, why am I not them? Your life has different starting points, different battles, different lessons. Do not measure your worth by someone else's timeline.
Set your own standards.
Ask, am I growing, even a little? Am I kinder than I was before? Am I more aware? Am I taking small steps toward my goals? Those are better questions than, am I as impressive as this stranger on the internet? Negative thinking often uses absolute language. I will never change. This is just who I am. It's hopeless. These thoughts kill effort. If you believe change is impossible, why would you try? To fight this, bring in probability and possibility. Instead of, I will never change, say, change is hard, but possible. Many people have changed before. My brain can learn new patterns. Instead of, it's hopeless, say, I don't see the solution yet, but that doesn't mean there isn't one. My current view is limited. You are allowed to feel tired. You are allowed to feel discouraged. But you must be careful about using words that close the door forever. Words like never, always, impossible can lock you in a mental prison. Start using softer language. Right now, at the moment, for now. For example, right now, I feel stuck. That leaves space for movement. At the moment, I'm very negative. That leaves space for change. For now, this is hard. That leaves space for growth. Killing negative thinking does not mean forcing yourself to be positive all the time. It does not mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine when it isn't. That's fake. Your mind will not believe it. Instead, aim for realistic, balanced thinking. When something bad happens, you can say, this is painful.
I'm disappointed.
And I also know that I've survived pain before. I can learn something. I can adjust. When you make a mistake, say, I messed up. I will take responsibility, but I'm not going to torture myself for months. I will correct what I can and move on. Balanced thinking acknowledges pain and possibility at the same time. To build this, practice writing your thoughts and then rewriting them.
Take a notebook.
On one side, write your raw negative thoughts. I'm stupid. Nobody cares. I'll fail. I'm ugly. I'm behind. On the other side, write more balanced responses to each. I'm stupid. I struggle with some things, but I've also learned many things. Intelligence is not one number. Nobody cares. Not everyone cares. But some people do, even if I forget that when I'm sad. I'll fail. I might fail. That's possible. But I also might succeed. I won't know unless I try. I'm ugly. My appearance is not perfect by society's standards, but my worth is not only based on looks. I can still be valuable, kind, and loved. I'm behind. I'm not where I want to be yet, but everyone moves at a different speed. I can start from where I am. You are training your brain to see more than just the worst side. Another important step is changing how you speak to yourself daily. Many people would never speak to a friend the way they speak to themselves. They would never call their friend trash, pathetic, unlovable, but they say those things inside, every day. Imagine that your inner voice is a person living with you. If that person constantly insults you, criticizes you, and tells you to give up, how would you feel living with them? Miserable. That's how you're living internally. You can begin to change that voice through deliberate practice. When you catch yourself saying something cruel, stop and correct yourself. Replace, I'm disgusting with I'm struggling, but I'm trying. Replace, I'm a loser with I'm learning and growing. even if I'm not where I want to be yet. Replace I'm nothing with I exist, I feel, I care. That is not nothing. You will not believe your new sentences at first.
That's okay. Say them anyway.
Over time, repetition creates belief. The negative sentences were repeated thousands of times. That's why they feel true. You must give your new sentences the same chance. Let's talk about responsibility. Your negative thoughts are not your fault. You did not sit down one day and choose them on purpose. They grew from many causes. But now that you are aware of them, you have a responsibility to stop feeding them. Feeding negative thinking looks like this: repeating harsh sentences, seeking out content that confirms you are worthless, surrounding yourself with people who insult you, avoiding any activity that could prove your thoughts wrong. For example, if you think, nobody likes me, and you avoid social situations that could show someone actually likes you, you keep the thought alive. If you think, I can't do anything, and you never try new things, you give the thought power. To kill negative thinking, you must starve it. This means stop repeating harsh phrases out loud when you're angry. Stop making jokes about your own worth that are actually self-harm. Limit exposure to people who constantly tear you down. Take small actions that could prove your negative thoughts wrong. If your mind says, I always fail, purposely attempt small tasks and complete them. If it says, nobody wants to hear me, share your thoughts with safe people or write publicly in a gentle way. If it says, I'm too weak, do small challenges and record your successes. Over time, your experiences will start to conflict with your negative beliefs, and the beliefs will weaken. Sometimes, negative thinking is very strong because it is connected to anxiety or depression. If your mind is dark all the time, if you feel hopeless for long periods, if your negative thoughts are making it hard to function, to sleep, eat, work, or do basic tasks, then you may need help beyond self-talk and notebooks. Talking to a therapist, counselor, or other mental health professional can be a powerful step. They can help you untangle your thoughts, understand their roots, and build tools specific to your situation. Asking for help does not mean your mind is weak. It means you are strong enough to admit that you need support. Finally, remember that killing negative thinking is not a one-time event. You do not wake up one morning and suddenly have only positive thoughts. The process is gradual. You will still have negative thoughts. The difference is that they no longer run your life. They appear, you see them, you question them, you respond differently. Progress looks like this. At first, you only notice your negative thoughts hours later, after they have already hurt you. Then you start to notice them while they are happening, and you sometimes stop them. Then you notice them early, and you often choose a better response. Then they come less often, and when they do, they feel weaker. Along the way, there will be setbacks. Some days your mind will be very dark. You will think, all this work is useless. I'm back to zero. You're not back to zero.
You're just having a hard day.
The work you already did is still inside you. You can use it again tomorrow. Do not demand perfection from yourself. Demand effort. You deserve a mind that is not always attacking you. You deserve to live with thoughts that support your growth, not destroy it. You deserve to believe that you are capable of change, worthy of care, and allowed to make mistakes. Negative thinking may have lived in your head for many years, but it is not your owner. It is a loud guest. You have the right to show it the door. Every time you question a harsh thought, every time you replace a cruel sentence with a kinder one, every time you take action that contradicts your negative beliefs, you're killing a small part of that thinking. Do it again, and again, and again. One day, you will look back and realize that the loudest voice in your mind is no longer the one that hates you. It is the one that says, I am trying. I am learning. I am healing. I am worthy of better. That day is worth fighting for.